Hi, everyone. My name is David Mitchell, and we're going to have a look into my journey to Esquire. Before I start, I want to say thank you to Jocelyn and everyone who's been involved. Journey to Esquire has been an amazing experience for me. I've learned so much. I met so many people, and I'm really appreciative of this opportunity to be a scholar in the program. So, I want to talk a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Jamaica. So growing up in Jamaica was like a very different experience, a very enjoyable experience. I loved living in Jamaica. And then I moved to America at the age of 16. And I also, love America. And there's a duality to it because, people always ask me like, oh, do you miss Jamaica or do you prefer America? I know that's a very hard question because there's aspects of my identity that are tied to Jamaica that aren't in America. And there's aspects of who I want to be that are in America and not in Jamaica. So it's a very difficult place to be in, but I'm very happy for this position that I'm in. I'm a 3L at Stetson University College of Law. I always tell people that law school has been the like my favorite educational experience. I've learned so much. I've changed as a person, and my whole outlook on life has changed. And also, I like to play soccer just for fun as a hobby. So, one of the first modules that we did was lawyer wellness. This module, I think, was very impactful to me. I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot about how I think about myself and like how I process information, how I handle situations. Um, One of the first quotes Jocelyn said, I believe, was, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to take time for your illness. And then it made me realize that every time I'm sick, it's usually like when I'm in like a stressful position and I'm neglecting like my physical health, I'm not exercising, I'm not eating properly. And then in turn, it makes me perform worse than on the task at hand because my inability to take care of my wellness, having a good balance reduces my performance. And also the competition, I now view it solely as like oneself. They always say comparison is the thief of joy. And when you realize that you're competing with yourself, not with anyone else, because other people, like how they present themselves or situations that they've been in, I feel like I've grown to realize, especially in law school, they're undervaluing like the time they spend on something. Like they'll tell you they spend, oh, it took me 30 minutes to do it, but in reality it probably took them like 2 hours. And then in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, it took me 2 hours and this person's doing it in 30 minutes. So I realized pretty quickly, and this reinforced it, that you have to just be focused on yourself and be in competition with yourself. And physically and mentally, you have to take care of yourself. Mentally by allowing yourself time for yourself to for your spiritual and mental health, and then physically, exercising, being outdoors, getting some sunlight. And there was a quote by Wayne Dyer that says, "If you change the way you look at things, it's actually I can't really see it. I could okay. To change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." And that quote I found very interesting and impactful because it's really all about your outlook, how that affects you and how you deal with it. So if you have a positive outlook, it changes everything, how you perceive things. And then another thing that I really gained from the lawyer wellness was that there's no deadline to success. Just because I didn't achieve a goal, like if I set a goal to achieve something and I didn't achieve it in the manner in which I anticipated to achieve it, doesn't mean that goal is no longer achievable or I can't have other forms of success. Okay. The first of the bar prep modules was like my first real introduction into conceptualizing and visualizing what the bar will be like. You know, I remember one of the questions like, "Well, where are you gonna study for the bar?" And I thought about it. I was like, "Well, I can't study at home for 6, 7 hours because then I'll never accomplish anything." So from then, I've been like, being practical of like where I'm going to study and like implementing a routine, and then time management, like with my friends and family, while maintaining that routine because they're not going to understand what I'm going through preparing for the bar and the level of commitment and dedication it takes. So, they're probably going to still want to like be calling me in the middle of like a lecture or saying like, hey, like we should go out. So I have to be mindful of that, but just still informing them of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what I need to do to complete it. And also, I received a lot of resources through Jessica and her website for the bar in being mindful, meditation, motivation. And she kind of emphasized like the motivation aspect of the bar, that it's really like a mental challenge as well as like an academic challenge. But in order to conquer the bar fully, you have to be mentally motivated to endeavor. So mentorship, one of the things I was looking forward to most with this program was mentorship. All the panelists have been amazing. I've connected with so many of them, and they've always been so inviting for me to like reach out if I have any questions or follow up on anything. And they're always like really nice. So I've been really appreciative of that opportunity. And even couple of the panelists I've actually met in person and stuff. And then otherwise, like Jocelyn has individually sent me, like, she'd be like, oh, David, like I know a Jamaican lawyer in the area that I know you guys can like connect with, and I've connected with them. So I've really appreciated that opportunity. And then as well as networking, I've never been the greatest at networking, but this program has like pushed me to like be talking to people and be meeting people. So it's been like really affecting and improving my networking skills. So I'm really appreciative for that. So diversity. The diversity panel was one of my favorite panels. It was very real, very down to earth, very practical. They really got into it, like what it's like being a lawyer and then what they went through in law school. And I really related to that experience because I realized, even though they went to different schools and different areas, that our experience was almost like identical. So that panel really shed light on like the general experience of being a minority in law school, and kind of gives you an idea that you're not alone going through this. And they did it and they're succeeding, and then kind of gives me motivation to know that I can do it as well. And then also how to combat imposter syndrome. When you're the only person that looks like you in the room, how do you like deal with that? Because like for me, I grew up in Jamaica, where Jamaica is predominantly a Black country. I'm Black, so everyone that I was dealing with was also Black. Everyone in a leadership role, my doctors, lawyers, business leaders, they were all Black. So coming to America and being a minority and not seeing anyone that looks like you is very weird for me. But them shedding light on like how to overcome that imposter syndrome and knowing that you earn the right to be in that space, and no one can take that away from me or take that away from anyone else, because we've earned the right to be in that space. And leadership. So one of the things I really want to do and I've been working on is to, enhance my leadership skills, come out my comfort zone, because I really do want to be influential to people. I have positive goals that I want to help people. So being able to connect with people and develop leadership skills has been an amazing benefit to me. Not only am I like, I liked how the panel addressed like not being afraid to connect with people. I would say I'm probably more on the shyer side. So acknowledging that, and that I need to be able to connect with people to enhance my leadership skills, and not doubting myself and undervaluing myself in terms of how people see me, because everyone has something to offer. So when I'm in that position, I need to recognize the value that I have and that I bring. And then in turn, I can collaborate with everyone to maximize like all the value that we have. And another thing the panel really like touched on was not only being involved, but being passionate. Like having passion is one of the identifiable traits that people really like and people follow. So if you're just doing something just to say that you did it, that's not That's in and of itself isn't enough, but having a passion behind it is really what gets people like drawn towards you. So another module and panel was professionalism. I think it was Corey that said this quote. He said, "Build work around the life you want to have, as opposed to building life around the work you have." So, when I think about work, or when I thought about work, I always thought about, getting a job and then building everything I want around that job, whether it be location and everything. But he had the opposite of approach and saying, build your life around um, sorry, yeah, build your life and then um, have build your life around the work that you have. So that's meaning like, personal development, understanding your personal goals, and then having a firm or job that fits into that description. Another thing professionally that I've been working on and I hadn't before this program was like keeping up with my LinkedIn profile and connecting with people and interacting with people. Before this program, I don't even think I had a picture on my LinkedIn profile. Like I made the profile, but I had no connections, I had no picture, I had no like description or bio or anything. So since then, I've really been up to date with my LinkedIn and I've been connecting with people, especially the panelists. And also the resume, cover letter, and interview tips that those were amazing. I've had so many nuances to my resume change because of that and my approach to writing cover letters, and specifically interview tips, because I was going through a phase where I wasn't doing well in interviews. I wasn't sure if it's the way I was asking questions or the type of questions I was asking. And he really rephrased some of the questions in a way that the answer that it solicits and the emotional response that it solicits, it's very different, even though I'm essentially seeking the same information and asking essentially the same question. So that really helped me in my approach looking forward. So I want to say thank you again. Jocelyn Hardrick is amazing. The founder of this program. This is an amazing program. I'm very thankful and very grateful to be a part of this program. I also want to thank all the board members, all the panelists. I want to thank Jocelyn again for the scholarship. During bar prep, where you have to work, you have to study 5 to 6 days a week, and you don't have an opportunity to work. So this scholarship is really helpful, and I'm really appreciative to Jocelyn Hardrick and to Journey to Esquire as a program, because for me, I've learned so much, and I'm very thankful to have been a part of it. And I'm looking forward to seeing this program continue to grow for the future and helping out in the future if necessary. Thank you.